Something fundamental changed in software engineering this week, and most people missed it. Developers are no longer just using AI to write faster during the day. They're delegating their hardest, most complex tasks to autonomous agents at end of day and waking up to finished work. This isn't autocomplete. This is actual delegation, and it rewrites the rules of how engineering teams operate. The tasks being handed off to Codex aren't trivial. They're the gnarly, high-context refactors and architecture planning sessions that engineers dread context switching into at 4 p.m. on a Friday. These are the tickets that sat on backlogs for weeks, not because they weren't important, but because the cognitive cost of starting them was too high. Now they get queued up, delegated, and reviewed over coffee the next morning. The productivity conversation around AI coding tools has been focused on the wrong metric. It's not about how many lines per minute you can generate during active work hours. It's about collapsing the timeline between recognizing what needs to be done and actually having it done. A 2-day senior engineering task handed off at 5 p.m. and reviewed at 9 a.m. represents a compression of days into hours, and that compounds dramatically across a team and a quarter. When a refactor takes 2 focused engineering days, it gets slotted into a sprint after negotiation and trade-offs. When that same refactor can run overnight, it stops being a sprint item and starts being a standing practice. Tech debt stops accumulating the same way. Quick wins get redefined entirely. Teams that internalize this shift will plan and execute at a fundamentally different cadence than teams still treating AI as an in-session assistant. There's a widening divide forming in engineering organizations right now. On one side, teams learning to structure work specifically for asynchronous agent runs, breaking down problems into delegatable overnight tasks with clear acceptance criteria. On the other side, teams still using Codex as a smarter tab complete. Both think they're using the same tool. Only one of them is compounding velocity week over week, and the gap will be obvious within a single product cycle. Code review culture developed over decades around a specific trust model. A human wrote this, a human can explain it, and accountability is clear. That model starts to fracture when a pull request was planned, written, and partially tested by an agent running unsupervised at 2 a.m. Reviewers need new mental frameworks for evaluating agent-generated PRs, and engineering orgs need new norms around what approval actually means in this context. This is the conversation the industry hasn't started yet. Beyond trust in the code quality itself, there are deeper questions emerging around ownership, liability, and organizational accountability. If an agent introduces a subtle architectural flaw during an overnight run and it reaches production, the traditional chain of responsibility, from author to reviewer to merger, doesn't map cleanly. Engineering leadership needs to proactively define these accountability structures before incidents force the conversation under pressure. The teams paying attention right now are redesigning their entire workflow around asynchronous agent delegation, treating overnight compute time as a first-class engineering resource. This isn't a future prediction. It's a present-tense competitive advantage available today to any team willing to change how they think about work handoff. The question isn't whether AI agents will transform engineering productivity. The question is whether your team will lead that transformation or spend next year wondering why your velocity stalled.